Hello, Jefferson. Today let's look at something called Classcraft. It is an amazing online activity that turns our entire day into an online game where students can gain experience points for doing great work and following the classroom rules, but where they also lose health points for breaking those classroom rules and doing things in class they know they shouldn't. This gamifies everything we do in this room. We have 3 different classes in Classcraft. First come the warriors. You can see they have lots of health points, 80, that's a lot. Action points, not so much, they only have 30. And then experience points you gain as you go. Health points are hit points if you're a D&D geek. How strong are you? How many points do you have until you die? Action points, how many special powers can you use? And experience you gain. GP is gold pieces, and you earn those as you go along too. As you level up, you'll be able to spend more money, customize your armor, do all kinds of cool stuff. It is really fun. Warriors have high health and medium action. Let's move on to another type of character. Next, we have mages. Notice they don't have as many health points. They only have 30 instead of 80, but they have lots of action points. These guys have cool magical powers, as you can guess by the guy with fire shooting off of his hands. And they can do lots of things to heal their classmates and use lots of powers to actually boost your grade in media. So they're not as strong, but they can do cool magical stuff that warriors can't. Finally, we have the healers. They have medium health points, so we have 30 for the mages, 50 for the healers, and 80 for the warriors. And they have an average number of action points. And these guys, when you get sick, when you misbehave and lose points and do stuff you shouldn't, these guys can bring you back to life. So be friends with your healers, because trust me, you're gonna need them. And for this game to work properly, you'll need at least one type of each class on your team. You'll need at least one warrior, one healer, and one mage, because when you put those 3 classes together, you have the maximum number of powers. If you don't have all 3, you won't be able to get the biggest amount of stuff out of the game. So first of all, decide who's going to be a warrior, who's going to be a mage, and who's going to be a healer. And all the extra people you have on your team, bonus for you. Let's talk about the stuff you can gain experience for. First of all, when I do a notebook check, are your notes complete? And did you have no disruptions for the day? Getting the top 3 on our online quizzes is always a good deal. You get a good grade and you get some bonus points. I have my students grade each other's work. If you grade each other's work well and you give someone some really good feedback on either a peer evaluation or a grading rubric that'll help them get a better grade, you get bonus points for helping them out. You also get bonus points if you correct all of the mistakes that your classmates told you to correct. Straighten the camera cabinet for me at the end of class, I'll give you points for that. Make an amazing video and you'll get lots of points for that. My advanced learners, they're always working like 1 or 2 scripts ahead of everyone else. That's worth 50. If I use your example in a handout or in a tutorial to show the rest of your classmates, hey, look what these guys are doing, that gets you lots of points. A lot of my students want to make video tutorials for me where they can teach their classmates how to do stuff. If you do a great one and it goes onto YouTube, it's worth 500. If it's good but not quite good enough to put on YouTube because I'm kind of picky about the quality, you still get 350 if you finish the video. Here's one of my favorites. If you'll read a part of the day's lesson, I'll give you some points for that. If you wipe down your mouse, your keyboard, or your desk before you leave, that's worth something. We put your videos on cable TV right here in Fort Wayne. If your video goes into Studio J, our TV show, you get points for that. And if you host the episode for me and do the little announcing telling us about your video or how cool it was to make it, that's worth 700. That's the good stuff. Now let's go over to the dark side. What can you lose points for? Talking inappropriate language. If you're out of your seat without a reason. If your head is down or you're leaning on something, someone, anything. If you fall off your stool. If you call me to grade something and your peer evaluation sheet or your grading rubric isn't filled out the way I teach you. First hour if you're not reading during power. First hour, if you leave your breakfast crumbs on your desk, sweep those puppies onto the floor. Seventh hour, if your computer is still plugged in at the end of the day. Seventh hour, if you're stacking chairs during the announcements and we can't hear them. If you're making noise with your body, or you're shoving or pushing or any kind of inappropriate touching. If you leave the SD card from the camera in your computer. If you're waiting for your bell by the door. If you ask for a pass but don't have a planner. If you're ignoring the lesson. If you're not using 3 before me. And if you don't have your notes or you have incomplete notes, that can hurt you as well. If your planner's not filled out when you bring it to me. If you're doing homework for other classes or just playing around on your computer instead of doing your work. If you don't capitalize your name in an online quiz. If you're just not working. If you're using Classcraft too much and not doing your media. And if you're messaging me inappropriately, which has happened, you'll lose points as well. So there's good and bad to this game. Let's talk about the characters and see what they can do. No, let's wait until tomorrow. This tutorial is already 6 minutes long, so let's cut it short and talk about it tomorrow.